How would you rate the federal government's handling of finances?
I'm very disappointed by the Liberal handling of the finances. It's like they're not keeping track of what they're spending.
Can you give me an example of what you're talking about?
Well, the whole pandemic, they just poured money out to people that weren't supposed to get it, and they're not clawing it back. That's your money, that's my money.
If you're making references to, for example, the defense purchases of the latest airplanes, F-35s, are they necessary? Some people will say no, some people will say yes. That's a big budget. That's in the budget. Do we need? We have a big country. We have to protect it. Yes. We need submarines. Yes, we do. Especially under the situation that we are right now, or everybody feels we are in with what's going on with Russia. We probably do need the rest of the things. It's health and defense. I think they're the big things that we have right now.
You know, being an individual in their early 30s right now, and dealing with the rates of inflation, the hikes of interest rates, you know, for housing, for loans in general, credit card rates going up, it's a nightmare, right? And I do not understand how anybody in politics, with all the advisors that they have that must have doctorates in economics and such, who have already seen periods of inflation happen in our history. And I am now aware that printing money creates inflation, right? Creates a larger sum of money overall, and that, a larger demand, and therefore higher rates of everything. I'm not sure why they would have done that. Like, I understand some people needed assistance, but surely there could have been a different way to do it that doesn't put, young individuals like myself in the situation we're currently in. That, home ownership right now is a dream, right? An ideal that is almost not realizable anymore, until interest rates go down. And yeah, I would give a 2 to their management of finances.
Out of
100.
I would probably rate it at a 7 or something like that. I mean, they could, I think there's a lot of room to improve, but it's a difficult time for them also. So I think generally it's not too bad.
I don't know. I mean, the Liberals spend a lot, but I don't know. It's like, I guess I always sort of feel like they're sort of we don't have really great options, and everyone sort of makes poor decisions. But I don't know, the Liberals seem to be the best of the worst, if that makes sense.
Ultimately, they're doing the best they can with what they have. That's the way, as taxes keep increasing, prices keep increasing, they're managing more money. How they're managing it, I don't know. It's a bit of a black box, frankly. I don't know how the government decides to finance what they finance, but how are they doing? Okay, I guess.
Honestly, I'm not too versed in the financing of the federal government. I know that inflation is a global issue, so it's hard for Canada to just be not a part of that, I guess.
Well, the economy is doing pretty well, so I know they had to spend quite a bit of money, but I think it was necessary to keep things going, and I think as a result, we're seeing Canada's doing really well. I mean, we're seeing the economy's bounce back. I see it here in Victoria. The shops are open. There's new shops opening. People are spending. I think, it was money well spent.
Well, I think the jury's still out. I can tell you one thing. It's not directly related to financing, but it's related to how affordable housing is being financed in Canada. As you may know, the Auditor General came out with a scathing report of the federal government's $88 billion housing plan. It appears to have no rules, it appears to have no oversight, and appears to not be focused on the people who need housing the most.
Well, I believe in the last few years, it's been a very difficult time for any government. But I do believe there was too much handing out of money, and there wasn't enough procedures to make sure that money was being handed out to the right people. There are people who lost their jobs, who needed a way to pay their rent, they needed food, you have to live, right? And they had no way of doing that. And the government supplied a solution. But that solution they provided was not well vetted, was not well established, and it was too easy for any random person to go and collect from it. And I believe that there was an attempt to do good, but through a lack of ignorance and honestly virtue signaling to try to be, oh look, we're taking care of the people, allowed for massive misjudgments when it came to the economy of our times. But also, like, I believe our COVID lockdowns went on for way too long, but you know, it is what it is.
You can't just be printing money because it causes so much inflation. Someone's going to have to be paying for this, and if it's not us, the next generation will, and it's going to be so hard on them. And if we think that it's hard on them now, it's going to be much harder on them in the future.
Well, again, I'm not too knowledgeable, but I've seen Chrystia Freeland throwing a lot of big numbers out there, and it's, you know, rumors that they're printing the money in the basement all the time. If I ran my budget that way, I would be like, that's terrible. They should really be more sensible with their spending.